This video is brought to you by Squarespace. When it comes to websites, online stores, etc., there's no place to build a beautiful online presence like Squarespace. This first part is spoiler free. So I've run over all the possible outcomes of this video, and none of them are good. When it comes to film and TV discourse, nothing has taken up space these last few months quite like Euphoria. Everyone has been watching it, and everyone has their own opinion, and everyone loves to talk about it, so I am sort of expecting some people to not enjoy this video, and I don't think there was any way I could have avoided that, because that's just what happens when you talk about this show. We have to at least give Sam Levinson that. He made something that people kept watching and something people love to talk about, and most importantly, something that not everyone agrees on. No, I wouldn't say his art is dangerous the way he described it himself when he wrote it in the last episode, but this show is at this point a cultural phenomenon that has managed to piss people off and also keep them coming back for more. And my thoughts on where this show is at now basically boils down to it's more fun to talk about than it is to watch. Now, I made a video a while back on the first season and why it deserved the hype, and speaking for myself today, I think I agree even more. The first season of Euphoria is just an amazing piece of television. Every character in that is so unique and treated with the same level of respect as the other. Each has such a fascinating backstory. The drama in the first season hit all the right marks. There were a number of times where I was on the edge of my seat. It felt refreshingly blunt on its depiction of addiction, depression, anxiety, and a slew of other things so many young people are battling and feeling. It was the brutally honest show about high school that this new generation just didn't have. Now it's the biggest thing ever. It was good in a way that let you overlook some of its flaws, like some of the cringy dialogue, some of the dated music choices. It made you go, oh, that's just high school. But now that the dreamy filter I used to watch this show through has faded away, and we've all gotten to know the work of Sam Levinson a little bit more, and we've all gotten to know how Sam Levinson runs his sets a little bit more, I'll be honest, it has become extremely difficult to watch this show without thinking about the myriad of flaws that come with it. Like the over-sexualization of high schoolers, the choice to favor some characters more than others, the choice to fully write certain characters out because of disagreements, the complete lack of a plan every step of the way. Season 1 just felt so carefully thought out, and like every episode went in with a theme it wanted to tackle and walked away pretty successfully. And there are some episodes in Season 2 where I could not tell you a single thing that happened. So let's break this down into some categories, and also if you don't want spoilers, get at it! My take on the cinematography this season is pretty mixed. Euphoria is a show that really shows off when it comes to its technical stuff, because it does have an undeniably very cinematic look to it, especially this season. They shot this one entirely on film, and as a result you get this super grainy look and all of the lights hitting the characters just a little bit cooler. Some standouts are any scene that takes place at Fezco's apartment, that one episode where Rue is just running through the street, the shot of Lexi in the end. There's a lot of shots in here that look straight out of the 70s, and that's one of my favorite decades for film, so I'm not complaining too hard, because like I said, it objectively looks great. Sam Levinson, but more importantly his cinematographer Marcel Rev, know exactly how to make something look great. And I would go as far to say the shots do have purpose. I can tell what they're trying to say every time, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Some of the visual metaphors / references are a little too on the nose. I shouldn't be rolling my eyes at a Twin Peaks reference, yet I am, but overall it looks good. For some reason it just felt frustrating watching it though. Not the first time I've used this, but it's like that one SpongeBob episode where he's eating the holographic meatloaf. It looks so good. I can read what the shot wants me to feel and what it's saying about the character, but it doesn't feel like I'm getting any actual feeling. These shots go right through me. The most memorable shot in the entire season is unarguably this one of Cassie. Such a gorgeous composition, and it's one of the only shots that really felt like it moved me, and that's probably because there's just so much happening in it. Like when that shows up on the screen when you aren't expecting it, obviously you're gonna be like, damn. But a lot of the cinematography, while beautiful, just didn't land for me. And I don't really blame it on the cinematography itself, I blame it on the storytelling. This season was a mess. This was a roller coaster of a season, and not in a cool, good way. Let me just run through my thoughts on each episode in rapid fire. Episode 1 was crazy, fun, unique, kind of reminded me of Climax and was a great start to the season. Episode 2 was, okay, things are slowing down, maybe it'll catch up. Episode 3, I'm starting to fall asleep, this could have been 20 minutes. Episode 4, Cal's dick. Episode 5 was phenomenal, one of the best episodes of the entire show, and finally some new Rue. Episode 6, Episode 2, and Episode 3 are all interchangeable in my eyes. Episode 7, I can acknowledge this as being a fan favorite, favorite in a very chaotic hour, but I thought it was kind of embarrassing and not as funny as everyone else. Episode 8, the finale, doesn't entirely feel earned yet. Do you see what I mean? The show is so quick to go from an outstanding episode that feels like, yeah, Euphoria deserves to get away with all the bullshit it pulls, and then the next week you're rolling your eyes. It feels like there was no plan. And let me clarify, you don't need a plan for every film and TV show. Some of my favorite films don't have any plans going into them, but for something with this many moving parts, you should at least have some form of structure. And maybe it just feels like that because season 1's structure was ridiculously simple, literally each episode starting with a character and kind of going from there. Like, all they had to do there was introduce them, and they nailed it. And this one didn't really know what it was supposed to do. Season 1 had this episodic feeling to it that made it work, where the show would just throw the characters all into one location and let them do the work. And the best episodes of 2 do follow this formula: a party, on the way to a party, a night, a play. Euphoria is at its best when everyone is intertwined in everyone else's drama, and that's the appeal of high school drama. Everyone is somehow involved in something they shouldn't be involved in, and that's really fun to watch. But for most of the season, characters have never felt so distant from each other. There are like 4 main storylines going on here: the Rue stuff, the Cassie and Maddie stuff, the Nate and Cal stuff, and the Fez stuff. Do we ever really see them overlap with each other? Sort of. Lexi is kind of the only thing that is sort of linking everybody together, but we never really see it come together in an interesting way, especially in the end. Your art isn't dangerous, it's boring. I can't say nobody changed this season, but it didn't feel like a lot changed, no? Rue had the biggest change of anybody, which is good. She is, after all, the main character, in case you or the show forgot. And as usual, I really like the way they deal with Rue in the show, which is no surprise considering it's the character Levinson has based his own experience off of. Her recovery process is painful and slow and a crazy uphill battle, which is a very hard thing to make interesting in a TV show. Yet this show somehow pulls it off while staying accurate to the struggle. Yes, it's a lot, and that's speaking as someone who hasn't had to deal with these kinds of issues firsthand. I can't imagine how difficult it is to watch for some people, and that's a good thing. Feeling seen and unalone in these battles is what made the show such a fan favorite to begin with. It even acknowledges this in the end, and I'm just glad it still knows how to do that with Rue as a character. She has a long way to go, but we end on a pretty hopeful note where I'm excited to see what happens next, and basically, I liked that part. I also kind of really liked Maddie this season. I wish we got more of her, to be honest. I feel like they only scratched the surface of who her character is, and by the end it really feels like they were playing her up for laughs when I'm like, I thought her whole arc was like overcoming a lot of that aggression, not ending things the way they started. But all that said, she did feel like she was moving in an interesting direction for a little bit there, questioning what she actually wants in life. And I'm like, if anyone needs that moment, it's Maddie. And Cal, hey, I liked watching Cal. He got about as much as they could get out of him, and I feel satisfied and weirdly excited about wherever the hell he's going from here. Everyone else, I don't know. I was really excited going into this that we were going to see more Fez, and I guess he's just not the type of person to open up in front of a lot of people, and I guess the thing with him and Lexi was cute. I just feel like I left the season wanting more of him. Jules became a non-character completely. She did not do a single thing this season beside get yelled at and make mistakes. Kat, we all know what happened there. Lexi, I'm just like, man, I get it, we need a Lexi in this show, but did we really need this much of her? I don't think Maud Apatow has the acting chops to carry a role like this. I don't think her character is unimportant. Maybe this is just me. I just want other people more. Elliot is weird. Most of the time he's kind of boring. I don't know what was with that song in the finale. And Cassie, let's talk about Cassie. Cassie for the first half of the season was for some reason the big star of the season, and I don't really see why. So this is me re-recording because I went on a big long rant about Cassie that felt a little mean, because looking back at it, she's not an awful character. In fact, she has a lot of interesting things to say about needing validation from other people in your life and learning how to overcome that. I just thought that they didn't deal with it in a very nuanced way, or in a way that's as interesting as the way they deal with Rue. It's the same thing with the cinematography. All the pieces are there. Sydney Sweeney does give a good performance in my opinion. Cassie is an interesting person and her struggles are worth telling. It's all there and it's built to work, but it's the way that they're presented to us that make it feel kind of underwhelming. It really comes down to the editing of this show. They wrote out the characters with so much depth, and they wrote a story that has twists and betrayal and revelations, but the way it was all cut together felt messy and like it didn't properly guide the viewer. Not in a way where it's like, oh, this is a challenging show. It's just a boring show. And what you get is a series of moments like the confrontation at the play, Cal pissing on the floor, the Marriage Story woman being weird in the tub, a bunch of memorable scenes that we remember for their absurdism and their catchiness, but none of the emotional devastation that the first season hooked us with. So yes, it's a fun show to watch. I'm definitely tuning in next season, but I left this one just struggling to take it seriously, if I'm being completely honest with myself. Which sucks, because this is a very serious show about very serious things, and this season was not that. I think that's all I gotta say. I'm disappointed. It has its moments, no doubt. That great show is still in there somewhere. I just hope next season someone starts saying no to Sam Levinson a little bit more. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go watch Euphoria and form your own opinion. And before you head out, I want to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace. Now, Squarespace, if you didn't already know, is a place where you can go online to build that brand of yours, whether it be an online store, a blog, a portfolio, you name it. They have professional portfolio designs where you can create galleries for your work as well as password-protected pages for clients. I use Squarespace mostly so I can show off some of my work, which is why I love their video block feature, which allows me to present some of my favorite videos and films in a way that looks really nice. Not to mention their amazing mobile web designer, which makes it so that any website you make automatically will look amazing on any platform while still matching your style. The best part about it all, though, why did I do that with my hand, is that if you go to squarespace.com/Karsten, you can get 10% off of your first purchase. So really, there's no reason not to give it a shot. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry if this made anybody mad, and I'll see you all in the next one.